But if you look around carefully, there's so much happening around us which has been so much well thought of and executed with utmost finesse. Such is the level of perfection that you won't even realize how difficult those things might be.
A quick example would be when people hear a song, somehow they just think that it's just a matter of speaking the right words in the right tune. But when they actually try singing it, they kind of realize that it's not sounding as good as the one they heard. And what they would never know is that for 10 seconds of a soulful song, a singer practices for 10 years. So that is the amount of effort that goes into producing such fine results.
Indeed. So let's get a deeper insight.
And one such phenomenon that we will be speaking about today is what goes behind an Indian classical music concert and some features which are unique to this kind of music. So first of all, we all need to know that contrary to all the myths, Indian classical music is a genre of music as alive today as pop, Western classical or jazz.
Indeed.
Innumerable concerts are being held not only in India but Europe, USA and many nations which are holding high the flag of Indian classical music on the world music scenario. Having been in the performing career for almost a decade now, we have performed at some of these venues and festivals, including the Grammy Museum in Los Angeles and the Unquest Music Conference in Boston. So, Indian classical music has got nothing to do with religion or devotional music,
nothing at all.
In fact, classical music, especially instrumental classical music, the one which we play, is perhaps the only form of music that is being heard by non-Indians all over the globe, owing to the fact that it does not have any lyrics or language barrier, so any listener can connect to this music through the medium of pure sound. Also, what makes Indian classical music all the more unique is that its purpose is not only to entertain, but also to elevate the listener's mind to a level where they can experience the profound silence that lies within all of us.
Indeed. So let's get a deeper insight into what goes behind a concert, and in between we'll discover a few parts where you will realize how much of mathematics is instilled into this music. And for the convenience of our understanding, we have divided the whole process into 3 stages, from ideas to planning to the final execution, which is the most interesting part. So let's begin from ideas. So how exactly do we gather creative ideas, and how do we strive to keep our creative quotient high? At this moment, I will talk about the 2 most important things. So first is by sheer practice. Simply put, you can never practice enough.
You cannot.
The more you practice, the more control you get over your voice or your instrument or any medium through which you are making music, and the more you can listen to yourself. And when you can listen to yourself, you can control what kind of music you are producing. And when you indeed have the control of what music you are producing, you can then experiment with new ideas, and you can even come up with new creative ideas on the stage. Depends on how much you have practiced. So second most important thing is what you absorb from masters in your field. It has been said that the fastest way to learn is probably by start following the absolute best of the best. So there's a catch here. You cannot just go on following and following. You have to observe and analyze, and you have to figure out for yourself what is it that makes them as good as they are, and you got to apply to that to yourself,
because ultimately you have to shine through your own individuality.
You cannot become a copy of someone.
You cannot.
So this was about how we gather ideas. Now moving to the planning stage. In a nutshell, planning is all about, is mostly about how we decide what to play for our audience, how we choose our content, and then trim it to suit the duration of our concerts. So first we need to understand that Indian classical music is based on what we call a rag. It's a Hindi word, rag, and there have several thousands of ragas. So Before understanding what a raga is, we should get to know that all music, whether be it Indian or Western, is based on 7 notes. In the Indian system, we call them sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, then again sa, again re, and so on.
Goes on.
In the Western system, we call them do, re, mi, fa, so, la, si, again do, again re, so on. So here's it. Any piece of music that you have ever heard in your life, any song, anything at all, any voice, has come out of these 7 notes. Almost everything and anything. And if you study further, you get to know that these are actually 12, because 5 of them have 2 variations. So all music comes out from these 12 notes.
So coming back to the raga, a rag in Indian classical music is a subset of the 12 notes that we just talked about, and it can contain 5, 6 or 7 notes. From these musical notes, different musical phrases and combinations are created. So these combinations are set to evoke a particular mood or atmosphere that is absolutely unique to this rag that you might be playing. And every rag is meant to be played at a certain time of the day. This is another very beautiful aspect of this music, of our Indian classical music. Ragas are according to the time of the day. There can be ragas which can be played in early morning, then afternoon, then evening, late night, and so on. So when we set out for a performance, we decide the rag according to the mood we are in and according to the time of the concert.
Yes. So now we'll move to the most exciting stage, that is execution. So since this involves some live demos, so we'll now take the stage before we continue our next topic.
So a little more about the instruments. As you see, this is the Sarod and Sitar, and these are one of the India's most traditional instruments. They have been there in our music for hundreds of years now. And this instrument, it has 25 strings, and this is a metallic plate, this is a goat skin, and again this is seasoned wood, which has become seasoned all over the years.
So the whole of this Sarod is made out from one single piece?
Just one piece.
And similar thing goes for the sitar. As you can see, this has 20 strings, and this whole thing is a pumpkin shell, so it's not good. This whole thing is a pumpkin shell. This is for the resonance of the sound, and this is played through the skin just before the nails. So there is a big callus, black colored callus, through which you can pull the string.
Similarly, in Sarod, we have to develop a callus on the natural nail. Just keep on playing, and practice for many years, and the nail becomes harder. So you have to develop a callus on the natural nail so that it can bear the tension of the strings.
So now we'll talk a bit about the great improvisational nature of this Indian classical music. So whatever we play at a concert, more than 85% of it is something we have never played before. And it's something we'll probably never play again
in any of our future concerts.
So every concert you attend, there's something new being created. And see it like this, for the past 100 years, hundreds of performers have added new music to this genre every single day with every single performance. So I don't think there's any doubt that this is one of the richest genres of music out there. And as we said before, when we set out for a concert, we choose a rag. So for today, we have chosen evening rag. It's called Manj Khamaj.
And the rag has a mood of joy and celebration.
And after choosing a rag, the artist chooses a composition. So compositions are bound by rhythmic cycle in our Indian music. And these rhythmic cycles are measured by the number of beats. They can be a rhythmic cycle of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
There can be many of them.
But the artist is free to choose any rhythmic cycle, and then they got to stick to it. So for today, we have chosen a 7-beat rhythmic cycle.
It's called Rupak Tal.
In Hindi, it's called Rupak Tal. And what happens is, first we'll play the composition, which will look like a song, which is being repeated. And then we will start improvising on the notes of the raga. And then the aim of the artist is to improvise again and again and to land on the number 1 beat. This is how everything goes. So usually there is a tabla player to keep the percussion alive, to keep the rhythm alive. But today we have an electronic thing so that you can have a feel of how beats are going. We will play the composition and then improvise, and then we will land on number 1, and we will say it aloud, and you can cross check it on the screen. This is for your reference. So let's go for a round.
While we are performing, you can imagine the instruments. So this one has 25 strings and 20. The 45 strings have to be kept in tune constantly so that we are in tune. So when we are playing a concert, a performer must check that he is in tune.
Switch off, please. Projector mic.
So as you can see, the 7 beats are going on, and after every 7, the first beat is repeated. The first beat is called the sum. So we will be doing some improvisation and coming to 1, and the screen is there for you to check. So first we'll play the basic composition.
Some volume please for the projector mic. Multiple cycles also, but again come back to 1. They can do 1, 2, 3 multiple cycles. So this was a glimpse into the improvisational methods in our Indian classical music. Thank you. And now we'll talk a bit about what is called a jugalbandi.
So all of you might have observed that while we were playing, both of us were playing together. So when two people are making music together, that's called a jugalbandi or a duet. So since we have grown up learning music together and we have practiced together for many years, we can understand each other's musical vision. And because this is one of the most important aspects of playing together, understanding each other and the coordination. Because playing together comes with a lot of responsibilities. You never know what the other person is going to do, because we are improvising on stage, so we never know what the other person is going to do.
Because we cannot fix that. That's the nature of our music.
So you have to be always ready and keep understanding what the other person is doing and keep it in sync with the other person. And another very beautiful aspect of jugalbandi is the sawaal jawaab. So what is the sawaal
jawaab? Yes, it literally means sawaal and jawaab.
The musical question answer. One of the players will initiate a question and the other one will answer intuitively. So now we'll play a small piece for you. This is again in rag manj kamanj. The composition is in 16 beats. Fast teen tal, 16 beats. And in between this piece you will notice the musical dialogue that will go in the jugalbandi.